Welcome back to Straight Facts. The DonStein files will be released today. We've done it quicker than the FBI, quicker than President Trump. We're looking at that. We're looking at the title race. Will Arsenal go 7 points clear this weekend against Bournemouth? Will City bounce back against Chelsea, as we know are managerless going into this game? Maresca sacked with Liam Rosenior. I don't think I'd ever thought I'd say the word Rosenior, and Chelsea are close to management. We're joined as ever by Don and Staffy for our Friday show, but back on the Football Terrace after many, many years is my old mate Lou, or Lulu as I used to call him. How about you, mate?
I'm not bad, mate. Not bad, Lulu. I've not missed that in the slightest. Bloody hell. No, I'm all good, man. All good. Keeping busy.
Good. Are you still cutting hair?
Yeah, you'll bit it out every so often. If someone says don't want to do an out call, I'll go do it.
Yeah. I saw you become a barber. It's good. It's a good job. It's a good social job. I like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But then, I got the itch, and people kept saying, "Do you want to come do this? Do you want to come do this?" And every so often, then it just built up again, slowly. And then you dropped me a text the other day going, you still about? I'm like, yeah, all right. May as well. Why not?
Well, I saw you on TalkSport, and you said some really interesting stuff. And I thought you'd sort of stopped doing it all. And then I saw you were there, and I was like, I'd be great to get Lewis's perspective on, especially with what's gone on this week. Well, actually, I reached out before what happened, to be fair. It wasn't after that. So we're going to be going into that today in more detail, looking at the future of Chelsea. I mean, there's so much to unpack with Chelsea today. We're going through all of it. We have an early super chat here that says, I need to apologize to Don. I thought his Arsenal-Chelsea squad depth opinion was delusional, but Hamza bested you by a country mile yesterday. Yeah, did you hear what Hamza said yesterday?
What did he say?
First of all, he said that it's hard for City to compete with Arsenal because Arteta's had 8 years to stockpile players and build a squad, where Pep hasn't had as long to build a squad. Even though, yeah, right. And then it's worse than Ty. He said Arsenal bottled it when they drew with Sunderland, but ours was different last night. We're like, oh, why was it different? He said, well, we played when it was -4 degrees. It was so much colder when they played.
That man is so shameless, Have you seen that video of him with Keon?
Yeah, he sent it to me the other day. I couldn't believe it. But
guys, it's 2026. We need to learn to leave Hamza's takes behind. Wonderful guy, very funny, good guy as well. But come on, it's 2026. We shouldn't be taking Hamza seriously. Shout out Hamza. Twitter Spaces are for you, but yeah, YouTube.
Maybe not YouTube.
We gotta do better.
Look, we're gonna start with Chelsea, Don. A crazy week for you guys. Maresca sacked. Liam Rosenior now seen as a favourite to come in. The likes of Xavi, I think Grasner have been ruled out as possibilities. Fabregas ruled out as a possibility. How are you feeling now, sort of 24 hours later? Your manager's gone. He's been talking to Man City as well, so it's where he might go. But where's your head at today with, first of all, with losing Maresca?
Bro, you asked me yesterday, am I still back in Clearlake? And what did I tell you, Terry, in the group?
You said not if the sporting directors are staying.
Yeah, I said no. I said no, bro, because for me, I like to give things time. And I feel like I've given these lot more than enough time, Terry. Over the years, we've spoken about many things that they need to do differently to rectify mistakes on this channel, on my channel. We spoke about the likes of Madueke and Mudryk. I said, bro, it's time to stop signing these sort of players. Go and sign me young players who are polished, if you want to go down that route. The likes of Olise, the likes of Palmer, the likes of Caicedo, the likes of Rodrigo, the likes of Kvaratskhelia. These guys are all young players, but they are top young players who come into a team and start, right? That's the model that I wanted to, to go down after the signings such as Madueke and Mudryk, right? And this season for me, listen, summer, they didn't sign enough starters for me. I spoke about the sort of players that I wanted to sign in the summer. I spoke about Rodrigo many times. I spoke about Ndiaye many times. I spoke about Semenyo as well. I spoke about Ekitike a few times on Blue Diaries. We were looking at Walter Made. He was getting cooked because no one really knew much about him, right? But these are the sort of signings that we should have been making. I spoke about Rodgers many times. We need a ball carrier in the team. That's why I was looking forward to, getting Xavi Simons in, getting someone like a Kudus in, right? I spoke about centre backs. Go and get Gahey, yeah? So all of the players that I wanted for us to sign in the summer, Terry, especially after the money that we made, especially after winning the Club World Cup, especially after winning the conference and whatnot. We should have gone out there and made these signings, because Maresca got you top 4. You go out there and you back him. But where they went wrong was that they went and signed players who are squad players. Yeah. And these are the guys that are coming into the team and starting week in, week out. And if you remember, in the summer, I predicted second at first, Terry, because I was looking at the style of play. I thought, you know what, with Palmer, Cole, I don't think was injured at that point. I said, I think style of play-wise, we're playing better than Arsenal. We'll create more than them. The likes of Delap and that should finish more chances. I think we'll finish second. I then changed my take to third when the window shut. Because I looked at Man City. I thought Man City, their defense is finished. They're not going to do much at the back. They'll attack well, but their defense is finished, right? And I predicted Liverpool to win the league. Yeah. But after the window shut, Terry, I changed my prediction. I made it lower because I was just like, we haven't done enough. I'm looking at Arsenal. They went and bought Eze. They went and bought in Hincapi, right? We've looked at Cole. We didn't replace him. We said, deal with the in-house situations, but then Badiashile was a biscuit. Fofana is another guy you can't depend on, right? You've got Josh Achimpong. They're saying they didn't sign a centre-back because of Josh, but they're the same people that were looking at Huijsen, right? That doesn't make any sense, because when we was looking at Huijsen, Josh was still here. You know what I mean? So you're just lying to us. You're just trying to insult our intelligence, At the end of the day, it starts from the top. Like I've said, the problems start from the top, right? With the decisions that they made in the summer. But at the same time, like I say 1,000,001 times, Terry, you can't run away from the reality. Yeah. You can't run away from the reality of the squad that we've got. And it's on the manager to make sure that he's managing the team correctly with the squad that he's got. And for me, this season, I found myself criticizing Maresca more than I've been praising him. And this is a guy that, Terry, when we was linked to him, I was praising this guy. People calling me delusional. What would you know about Maresca? What do you know about Y Scout? I said, bro, this guy's gonna get us top 4. Yeah, and that's exactly what he did, because he's a good coach. But this season, there's been so many games where I'm like, why did you make that decision? Why are you still starting Garnacho and Neto every game? Why is Esteval not playing much? Why is our midfield wide open? You've got Santos on the bench. Enzo Fernandez is dying out there, right? Why are you still playing Tosin ahead of Josh? Why are you not overlapping the fullbacks? Yeah, all these questions about the squad. As much as I agree that he should have been given more, I still don't agree with how he's been using the squad. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, I suppose that's my first question for you, really. When did you come to the realization that your squad wasn't good enough? Because it was only in November that you tweeted this and said, like I keep saying, the main difference between us and these guys, Arsenal, are the centre-backs, as an example. So it was only sort of 5-6 weeks ago you were essentially saying...
Scroll down on the context of that, though. Well, that was explaining the goals scored. That was explaining the XG. That was explaining the chances created.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Show that as well. Show that as well.
Hang on. Let me finish asking the question. When did you come to the realization that your sporting directors weren't building a good enough squad? Because in the summer you were tweeting about how Tosin's got to stay because he's a solid player. When you signed Gittins, you were talking about what a solid and good squad the sporting directors were building. You've regularly this season said things along the lines of the squad's only the centre-back stop us being completely on Arsenal's level, but everywhere else we're as good as them. You've said you've had the second best squad and third best squads in the league. Where I'm trying to understand where your mind has changed. You've gone from really praising the squad build, the players, and being close to the best teams in England to the sporting directors don't go. I'm going to turn on Clearlake. When was that turning point? When did you realize that your assessment of the squad was so wrong?
See, I'm glad that you mentioned the squad 1,000,001 times, because we haven't had a conversation about where I rank our starting 11. Because if you'd asked me where I rank my starting 11, Terry, I'll tell you, bro, probably 4th in the league, 5th in the league, probably our starting 11. But in terms of the players that we've got that are depth, right? The like-for-like players, like I've said to you 1,000,001 times. Bro, Arsenal and Chelsea have a very deep squad. But the issue with this squad is that there's so many players in it that have been neglected. They've been ignored. I saw this last season with Vega, with Felix, with who else? Like Nkuku wasn't being used correctly, right? Dewsbury Hall. Guys are now telling me these guys, we should have brought them back because they're better squad players than what we've got now, right? But last season I was being told they're not good enough. And that's exactly what I'm being told now about Santos. I'm being told Santos isn't good enough. I'm being told Gittins isn't good enough. I'm being told Hato isn't good enough. I'm being told Josh isn't good enough. Right?
But you thought they were. So when were you?
Squad players. My take on them hasn't changed the squad players. I think these guys are good squad players. My problem is, hold on, Terry. My problem is this manager hasn't even been using them for people to come to full-blown conclusions about how they are as players, right? We saw Hato against a team in the team in Baku. Yeah, he made a mistake. Cool, he didn't play well in that game. We didn't see this guy for time. Yeah, we didn't see this guy for time, bro. Andre Santos, the way man's just been dashed to the side like he's any guy is mad. I was on the phone to Staffy the other day. I said, bro, if you man sign Santos right now, he walks into your 11 and he starts for you guys. This guy here, we've got Reece playing ahead of him in midfield. Yeah, there's so many players in this squad, Terry. Who for me, like even with the squad, how I'd be using it right now. Maresca's not been managing it how I would manage it, bro.
So okay, so this is my question then. So where I'm a little confused with your stance. That's why we wanted to it's why this release of the DonStein files today. So if your manager is underperformed with the squad that he's got, and you're still only a couple of points away from essentially being where you wanted to be, why are you so hell-bent on the sporting directors going? Because if your manager's underachieving, you rated Gittins when you signed him, you wanted Tosin to stay. Yes. You were happy. I mean, there's countless times where you've added Staffy and other people like celebrating the Garnacho. They were talking about him as a decent player. When did you change your mind, though, on the quality of your squad to want your sporting directors sacked?
Bro, I haven't. This is what I'm saying. You didn't ask me about what I think of my starting 11, Terry. You asked me what I think of my squad. And I don't
care about the starting 11 because the starting 11 is irrelevant. Let me explain why I don't ask about the starting 11. Because you're a Chelsea fan, so you understand what it takes to win Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. So whenever we speak about a team, we're never speaking about just a starting 11. When we assess where our teams are going to come at the end of a season and what we might win, none of us sit there and go, if every 11, all of my best 11 stay fit, we might do this and that. Why? Because no one's ever kept an 11 fit for an entire season ever. You have to use squad players. You have to rotate when you're in the Champions League. So the conversations become they're organically about your squad. There is no need to differentiate. Yes, if you're doing a combined 11, if you're doing a combined 11 conversation, then fair enough. But when we're talking about where do you think you're going to finish, what can you win, how good are you compared to these other clubs, we're talking about your squad. You've praised a lot of your signings. You were happy with the squad build in the summer. It's absolutely fair that you've changed your mind. I'm just trying to ascertain when you realize you got it wrong.
Yeah, but Terry, this is what I'm saying, bro. My take on Gittins being a squad player hasn't changed. My take on Garnacho being a squad player hasn't changed, right? You're missing a key point here, Terry. The players that I wanted to sign to walk straight into the 11, we did not sign, right? We did not sign them. I already said to you, bro, I don't mind Gittins as a signing. I'm not changing my take on that. I don't think Gittins is a bad player. But what my problem is who we signed after Gittins, yeah? Garnacho. That's my problem, right? I've got no problem with Delap as a squad player. But my problem is we didn't go sign someone like Ekatike who starts for us, right? I've got no problem with Tosin being a squad player you see in the cups here and there. But my problem is not signing Gehi, yeah, who comes into the starting 11 straight away. So there's two conversations to be having here, bro. You're saying, oh, I've changed my take on the squad players. I really haven't. I haven't changed my take on these squad players. What my point is, we have squaddies who are starting for this team when in the summer we needed starting level players to be bought. Yeah, that's my argument. You know what I mean?
And I understand that argument. But if I go back to the conversations, not just last summer, but the summer before, I remember having them on the terrace with you and LB. It wasn't even with me. And LB was sitting there and saying, look, you need the Osimhens of this world. You were defending Clearlake by saying, yeah, the salary is too high. You have invariably backed the ownership in terms of their restructuring model. That's too much money for this. We're not going to do that. I'm backing it. My question is to you now. Do you think it was the wrong thing to do as a Chelsea fan to support this model, which has got you to a top 4 level, won you the World Club Cup? I don't think Chelsea are a terrible team, by the way. I think you've got a very good squad. This isn't about your shit, your rubbish. You're not going to get relegated. But do you actually now look at the way Clearlake are running your club and you think to yourself, actually, it doesn't matter how good Palmer and Caicedo and Cucurella are, you're never going to get to the top, because they've doubled down this week, and we're going to go to Louis in a minute, speak on this. They've doubled down this week and said, we're just going to continue buying young players. We're going to continue with young and experienced managers. So it doesn't really matter about the sporting directors. This is my analogy for you. We all watch. No, it don't matter about sporting. I'll tell you why it don't. Because your sporting directors in Clearlake, do you know what they are? That's the Mind Flare and Vecna. They're the same thing. The sporting directors are just doing the bidding of what Clearlake want. The sporting directors haven't got autonomy to decide how your club's operating. Clearlake are telling them. There's no way Egbali and co are just ignoring what Clearlake want and going, no, we're doing it this way. There is going to be there might be some areas where they get control and power, but Clearlake run the club. The sporting directors do their bidding. So you saying, I'll only back Clearlake if they change the sporting directors. They're not going to. The sporting directors are doing exactly what Clearlake want.
No, but that's the thing though, Terry, because if we had brought in Campos, I don't think Campos brings in the likes of Garnacho, right? Because they've had a similar model.
No,
I don't see that. I don't see that. Yeah, I don't see that.
He does, because Campos would come in and do exactly what Clearlake tell him to do.
Bro, does every young player want the amount of money that Osman wanted? Because at the end of the day, this is a conversation around talent ID as well. I think these guys' talent ID, bro, it reeks in comparison to Campos. Yeah, Campos went and he had a project as well. Go and sign me the best young players. He went and signed Kvaratskhelia, a young player. He went and signed Doué, a young player. Right? He's gone and signed Neves, a young player. Yeah. Look at the difference in the quality of these young players. But then when you've got guys upstairs who think Garnacho is the answer for Maresca's system, when the guy had one of the worst successful dribbles last season.
Okay.
Then you've got a problem.
This is the difference. This is why what you're saying doesn't make any sense before we go over to Louis. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example here. Okay. Doué's on £132,000 a week. Barcola 140,000. Zaire Emery 220,000 a week. Vitinha signed 227,000 a week. They are paying these players absolute big bucks to be at their football club. Dembele, obviously, that they signed, he wasn't so young, 350,000. They went and got Kvaratskhelia. Without Kvaratskhelia, I don't think they go to the level they got to. He's on over 300 grand a week. What your club isn't doing, and maybe Oshiman wanted a little bit too much.
Can you read Palmer's wages, and can you read Enzo's wages, and can you read Caicedo's wages? Also read Neto's wages. Go read their wages as well, because they're not getting paid 50 grand a week.
The point is this, right? Is that your wage cap is set at around 150, 160, 170 for players. You're not signing players that are over the age of 25 by and large, okay? And you're not going out into the market to try and sign the Kvaratskhelia. You're now doing it with your manager, where you're not going out now and trying to find one of the best in the world who's already won the major trophies, as you always used to try and do. What you're now doing is, we're going to bring in another inexperienced coach, and you're kind of starting again. The idea that your model and PSG's model, for me, are not the same. So you can bring Campos in all you want, but if he doesn't have the scope, if he hasn't got the scope to do it, it's crazy. Elise was a great example. The only reason you didn't get Elise is you weren't prepared to pay him. The reason you looked at Semenyo and walked away straight away, you weren't prepared to pay him what City were prepared to pay him, and that's only 150 grand a week.
It's been reported that the wages by every team were pretty much the same, right? Semenyo turned us down because he didn't want to come to this fucking circus. That's for one.
Yeah, but Chelsea of old would have got it done. Chelsea of old would have got it done.
Hold on. Let's go back a little bit, because you're trying to take away context now, right? You want to read the wages at PSG. Read the Chelsea player wages as well then. Let's give the audience the context of Chelsea players as well. The wages that you mentioned there, I don't think he is missing out on context. The wages, yeah, he is, because the wages that he's mentioned there, they are paying that for some of the players, the young players in this squad, right? Okay, so
let me give you an example. Okay, so you've got Cole Palmer on 130k a week, okay? Yep. Caicedo 150,000 a week. Tossing came in on 120. You sign, obviously, you look at the two wingers you bought this summer as an example. Gittins is on 108 and Alejandro's on 108.
I didn't even know that. Now,
listen, it's not a pittance. It's all a lot of money to us. But for me, you need to be aiming at wingers that are going to be charging you 170s, 180s, 200, 250,000s to go from being a top 4 team to winning the Premier League.
That's not how much Doué is on, though. You can't say 170,000. Doué is not even on that, bro. He's not even on that money. So that's my point. My problem.
Look at their key wingers. They bought with Dembele and Kvaratskhelia that are on 314 and 350,000 respectively.
Moski, go. You read Doué's wages, and Doué is not even on 150k a week, right? And you just told me Gittins is on over 100k a week. I didn't even know Gittins is on over 100k a week. That's mad. Yeah. So man ain't gonna try. Man ain't gonna try. Change things. My problem. You can look at the team and say they've got a wage structure. Cool, that's fair enough. But my problem with those guys upstairs is their execution. Yeah, I don't believe that if Campos was hired, he would be looking at the likes of Garnacho. Yeah, I don't believe that. Whether you agree with me or not, whether you agree with me or not, that's fine. And Louis, that is a problem that Campos wouldn't come here, and that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying they need to change, and that's why I'm saying they need to change, because people are now saying get rid of Igbali. Realistically, Louis, that's not going to happen. That's not happening.
It's not. But okay. But so they're not. He's not going to go anywhere. Probably no. They own 67% of the club, and the model that they're using, I've been saying for 2-3 years, isn't going to work, and it's not working. It's not working. The quality of players that they're signing is absolutely atrocious. I mean, Gittins wasn't a good signing. Garnacho was an opportunistic signing. There's not been a level of quality of player that's come into Chelsea over the past maybe 2 or 3 windows, apart from Esteval, who I still think is very harsh on an 18-year-old to sort of talk about him already as one of the top quality players, because the fact he's 18, you shouldn't be putting that sort of pressure on a child. You know, it's very much a case that, you know, he's somebody, there's not really been any quality, but it also does come down to the fact of it's their model. It's the sporting, you talk about sporting directors and their talent ID. It's Igbali who's managing. The man is like, he treats managers and players like Tinder. He swipes left and right consistently all the time. Shift, do this. They think the easiest way they're going to make money in this model is by just continuously shifting players. He is not interested in winning the Premier League. He's categorically said that. He's looked at Brighton and said, they have a really good model. We think that's the best model in the Premier League. Well, Brighton won. If they wanted to come into a club and not treat it like an opportunity, or if they would have gone down, if they wanted to do what they wanted to, they should have gone and bought Brighton, or they should have gone and done a Wrexham, or whatever it is. What they've done is they've come into a club, not cared about any of the culture, because I speak to people in the club regularly, whether that be someone who works in marketing, in media, whether that be one of the coaching staff in the under-21s or the kids, whatever. They've completely torn apart the entirety of the culture at Chelsea. There is no winning mentality. Everyone in there, every player that walks out onto the pitch is a spreadsheet number. And all they do is micromanage the hell out of it. And that's what's been coming out this week. It's been reinforced. You can talk about the sporting directors. You can talk about how if they go, no one's going to come in. And like Terry pointed out, anybody serious, we can go through managers as well. Nagelsmann, Enrique. Let's look at Luis Campos. There was a geezer from the Red Bull network that they were looking at as well. There was Christopher Vell, who even came into the club and walked out because of how much a mess it was within a few months. The micromanaging and the lack of the pressure from someone who has any lack of understanding about a football club is baffling. But the fact is, they don't look at this as a football club. This is a market opportunity. This is a portfolio. They do not care. This is what they want to make into a business, which is simply just runs itself, and then it's cool. It's looking after itself. As long as they're making money, they don't care. What's going on right now is exactly what they want. It's exactly what they want, which is why when they talk about Liam Rosenior, right, coming in from Salzburg, Igbali's going, I don't care if I disrupt Salzburg's season. It's not my problem. Because at the end of the day, they're still making money. He doesn't care. He's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to change unless something serious is done by people either marching with their feet or the stadium being empty or whatever. It's the only way things change is if his bottom line is hurt, which, by the way, it is going to be if they continue going down this path, because the quality of signings is not that of a top 14. The quality of squad building, I agree with you, it's been shocking. I'd have signed Mark Gahey, but also you're saying sign young players who've got a lot of potential or whatever, but have the experience. There's no experience in our squad. There's no experience in our squad.
What's Reece then? What's Cuckoo then?
Aside from Reece James, I'd argue in terms of top draw squad building since they've come in, of course, Reece James and Cucurella have got developed. But if you look at that PSG team and you look at the infrastructure at that club, there's seniority throughout it. This is young players reporting into a young manager, reporting into clueless sporting directors, reporting into clueless owners. Where is the vein of the thought process there? There isn't one. But the fact is, Igbali doesn't want to relinquish the control because he doesn't want to. He's a megalomaniac who doesn't have a clue what he's talking about, but he wants to constantly put pressure on these sporting directors, and then the sporting directors kiss his ass, and they want to put pressure on a manager, who then telling him how to do rotations, do this with the medical staff, and micromanaging the hell out of absolutely everything. This is not a competently run football club.
This is the thing. This is the thing for me, Louis. When you're saying that we haven't got experience in the team, yeah. How long has Caicedo been here now? Are we still gonna call man a kid? Are we still gonna?
You just completely ignored the entirety of what I just said.
I didn't ignore what you said. Tosin and Chalobah.
Oh my god!
Let me finish what I'm saying. You see, you're not even let me finish. Never let me finish my point.
It's stupid. It's ridiculous.
I'm about to rebuttal your point. Tosin and Chalobah are one of the most experienced players in this team, but their quality isn't it, right? And that's why I'm saying to you, bro, I'm focusing on quality first because we do have experience in this team, bro. No one can tell me there's inexperience now.
You know what? Semantics. Don. No. Hang on, Don. When people say Chelsea need more experience, it is a prerequisite that what they mean. They don't mean go and sign for a 45-year-old Lee Cattermole because he played 400 games. They mean sign players who are experienced 300, 400, 500 games, but are also of tip-top quality. It's a prerequisite. No one says go and sign experience. Or what do you mean? Sign a 38-year-old from League One because he played 900 games. We all know exactly what people mean. It means go out and try and sign the best striker in the world, the best centre-back in the world, the best wingers in the world. The problem is your model isn't going to allow it. Now, you are right to a degree with PSG. They changed an element of their approach, and they went after young French players. They stopped going after the Galacticos, and their wage bill did drop by nearly over £100 million. But what they have committed to is as those players renew their deals, so we've already seen it with Vitinha, came in on around 100k a week, renewed his contract, jumped up to 220,000. Doué came in on 130,000. That is going to go to 250, 260 minimum when he renews, and it will keep going up and up. They'll eventually get back to, if the team plays as well as it does, the way they used to operate. What they're not doing is going out and just bringing players to the league that don't necessarily want to be there and offering them stupid money, 400 grand a week for an average defender and things like that. That's what no one's asking Chelsea to do that. No one's saying go and buy who's a decent striker. No one's saying go and buy Solanke and give him 300 grand a week because he's experienced. That's not what's being requested here from some Chelsea fans or when rivals criticize. It's go out and buy the best strikers available and pay them the going rate, and you guys can start winning league titles again. It just feels like there's a lot of Chelsea fans, and I'm not saying everything Clearlake have done is wrong. I think you signed some brilliant young players. I actually think signing youngsters you don't want and flipping them for a profit to generate extra income is great, as long as that extra income is spent on buying the best players in the world. But it isn't.
Let me ask you a question, please, because we need to define experience. I feel like it's become a buzzword these days. What is your definition of experience, Louis? And give me examples of these players in this day and age. Don't name players that have retired. Don't name players that have retired. You give me your definition of experience.
Literally what Terry just said. That is my definition.
Players of over 500 games then, yeah?
I'd say of a significant experience that could actually help the squad get better. I mean,
what does that mean?
Let's just use one that was in the squad who might not play as regularly, but was someone of serious experience. Maybe renew Thiago Silva's contract for a year, have him around the squad. If you look at Chelsea of old, right, and I'm not even talking Roman, I'm talking pre-Roman here. So when you had the likes of Marcel Desailly, Frank Leboeuf, World Cup winning centre-backs Chelsea towards the back end of their career, you also had the likes of Dennis Wise, whatever, but they were there to help the likes of John Terry, Frank Lampard, all these other players get into the rhythm, get into the flow, and then you have that consistent vein of quality and culture that runs through the club. These are the standards that need to be set. This is what we need to do. This is where we need to be, right? What they've done here is they've completely scrapped that. They don't care what's been. They don't care what it was. And they've just gone, right, we don't mind not losing the Carabao Cup semi-final, which is what they've said today, by the way. That's been well reported, right? We don't mind losing that. It's still the end of the world. Hang on, you want me to answer your question? Let me finish and I'll answer it for you, right? So the quality of what is expected from Chelsea has been completely diminished because the quality in-house is not good enough, right? And yes, we can talk about Caicedo and Enzo and Cucurella and Reece. I think they're great examples of players that have matured and got better, and that's been fantastic. But another example is outside of Chelsea of showing it does not work is Arsene Wenger and the young guns in the early noughties, right? Or sorry, late noughties. You were signing the likes of Theo Walcott. They were signing the likes of Bakary Sagna, Samir Nasri, all these players, right, to just completely displace what was there. But because there was no one of seniority within the squad, the culture wasn't implemented. The culture wasn't there. So then also you now look at it, Arsenal are probably just about coming out the back end of that and are starting to get better. And we've seen that this season when there's results that they wouldn't be getting maybe 2-3 years ago, and they're pushing on and doing it. Chelsea right now do not have the quality and do not have the expectations in place. And if the expectations are in place, they're completely misplaced, because you've got the quality of players that, quite frankly, are no better than 4th or 5th. And that's a push I feel, in a lot of this squad, that are now being expected to challenge for league titles. But they don't want to spend the money.
So by your definition, if your definition of experience is the Dennis Wises and the Thiago Silvas, you can't sign a Katike then. Go sign Giroud. Go bring Giroud back.
Oh my God!
You can't sign Ndiaye then. You can't sign Ndiaye then.
Oh my word! You're doing extreme easy here. No, but you've given the example. We're not going to forget Olivier Giroud. Let's go back to Olivier Giroud. Let's go back to Olivier. I don't want the Olivier.
I didn't say nothing. I stayed quiet. Straight
away, Don. You straight away went in with the.
I ain't saying nothing.
You straight away went in with Olivier Giroud, who even at his pomp at club level in England was a good player, experienced but good. He wasn't someone that was an elite level. Equally, no one said you shouldn't buy young, talented players, because there are some that are young. There are some that are young and amazing, but experience, an example of an experienced, good quality player this summer, Eze, Zubimendi, Donnarumma. Players that are in their mid to late 20s, they've got the know-how, they're fully formed, as an example. Donnarumma, I think, by the way, Rob Sanchez has had a good season.
Not Thiago Silva. Eze don't come anywhere near Thiago Silva of experience. Nowhere near.
Okay, but then again...
But Don, you're going extreme here.
You gave examples. You gave an example of Thiago Silva. No, but I literally gave you... Hold on. I gave you the chance to say what your definition of experience is.
You gave me the chance, bro. You didn't stop talking for 20 minutes.
You gave the definition. You literally said, you gave the example of Thiago Silva. Now you're trying to backtrack, right?
I'm not.
So go get the Thiago Silva then. Go get the 35-year-old then. Go get the 35-year-olds then.
You're right.
You don't want Ekitike then, do you? Right?
What you should also be pushing Chelsea to do, in my opinion.
Don't try to tell me Thiago Silva, and then you try to tell me.
Terry, I'm here to talk football.
He hasn't even played 200 games yet.
Let me know when you're ready.
It was an example of something you could have done to help these young players continue moving in the right direction.
Giroud then. Go get Giroud back.
Because Thiago Silva was a far superior centre-back compared to Giroud as a striker. You're being disingenuous.
I'm not being disingenuous. I'm talking about the level of experience that he's got.
No. So what you're doing, so it was very clearly defined when experience with top quality. Are you telling me that Olivier Giroud as a striker at club level was as good as Thiago Silva was a centre-back?
I'm talking about their experience in their career.
You're now undoing. You're now undoing.
You shouldn't have signed a Katike, bro.
No, hang on. Me and Louis both spoke about what the experience means. It means looking for the experience at the highest level of quality. Your pushback is Olivier Giroud. That's literally not what we were talking about. Another thing Chelsea should look to do, and I'm going to go to Staffy in a minute because he hasn't spoken yet as well, is what you would have done 4 or 5 years ago when you had a squad as good as this one, because it is a good squad and it's a team that can win things. What you would have also done is started knocking on the doors of the Liverpools, knocking on the doors of the Arsenals, trying to take their best players. And that, again, with your wage structure, is something you're just not going to be able to do. Chelsea of old would have tried to find the thing is, the players that I've mentioned, and you were amazing at doing that. And those are the things that Clearlake have got to be pushed towards doing. It's what a lot of the best teams in the world do. They go, right, can we take the best players possible away from other top teams? And Chelsea were dynamos at that. So when you say who's available, well, sometimes you've got to create the availability.
I literally gave examples of players we should have signed in the summer who are experienced and good enough to be playing, right? I gave you all the examples. Gay is experienced. He's good enough to be playing.
Loads of great examples.
Experience. Ekitike is good enough to be playing. Rodrigo is young, but he's experienced. He's good enough to be playing. Semenyo is good enough to be playing.
Yeah, but Rodrigo was
Semenyo, Mbumo, all these guys.
That's what I wanted, Louis. They're the sort of players that I wanted, bro. That's my point, right?
Yeah, but there's a balance. There's a balance.
When you're saying the Thiago Silvas, I think that's so far-fetched, because my point with you, Louis, is you can find players, right, who aren't as experienced as Thiago Silva, but still have the experience and the quality. The players I've just mentioned, bro. Rodgers, right? I'm looking at Rodgers right now. I'm seeing Rodgers has what? It's saying here he's got over 277 appearances.
No, but do you know why Rodgers is so good as well? It's because he's been surrounded by those players which have taken him to that other level. What Chelsea have done is they've signed this portfolio of potential talent, but not given them the structure to develop, in my opinion, right? I look at Morgan Rodgers, and he's got Unai Emery to talk to. He's got John McGinn in that squad, who might not be world class, but guess what? He's got experience in football where he can be like, right, let's do this. It's little things that maybe you can't teach, those intangibles, right? Things that this squad don't have, in my opinion. I think Mark Gahey would have been a superb signing. But
Can I ask you a question then, right? So think about it like this. Let me just name the squad of some of these players we've signed. So Sanchez in goal, Cucurella with Reece at right back, right? Gahey and Fofana, because Levi's been injured. So Gahey and Fofana at the back. The midfield, yeah. So Caicedo, I don't know, Enzo and Palmer in the middle. Or if you want to go with Caicedo, Santos and Palmer, yeah. If you want to do like a like a more solid pivot, right? With Rodrigo, Semenyo, and Ndiaye on the left, yeah. Ekitike and Esteval on the right, yeah. Where would you sort of rank that team? Where would you sort of rank that team?
Well, I mean, I don't think some of the Rodrigo signing is one which could be.
I'm asking you if we did sign that level of player, where would you rank that team, bro?
Don, do you want me to answer your question, or are you going to keep talking?
You're saying. Hold on. You're saying.
No, okay, no, he doesn't want me to answer my question. Terry, continue.
You want you to answer the question, but you're saying, oh, we would sign him. I'm saying if we did sign him, where would you rank him, bro?
But it's a redundant question because he's someone who's completely out of the wage structure and was also ridiculously expensive. Chelsea weren't going to sign him, and also, as Terry said at the beginning, you can't pick an 11. This has got to be a squad of probably now the amount of competitions, the amount of football that teams play now, probably 18 to 20 players. It's not 15, 16 anymore.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my question.
I'm not answering your question because you're not letting me finish. And two, I am answering it because I'm saying I don't think it's a realistic signing. I don't think it's worth answering that question because it's not real. It's not. I'm trying to.
That's the whole point of the conversation. That is the whole point of the conversation. We are talking about the type of players we should have signed, yeah, for us to compete.
So,
right?
So you do agree? So I mean, all I'm hearing you do here, Don, is ask a question about the quality of player that you weren't able to sign because of your club structure, the structure you backed.
Bro, hold on a second, Terry. You're talking about the structure that I backed, right? Did I back them not signing starting level players, bro? Did I back them not signing starting level players? You
backed Clearlake.
Right? Hold on, Terry. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this, Terry.
You backed them.
One thing about you, one thing I've clocked about you, bro, yeah? Me and you had conversations many times about Clearlake, and we're on the same page about a lot of the things.
Yeah,
right.
And I've said I got it wrong.
Let me finish.
I got it wrong.
Let me finish what I'm saying, bro, because you keep cutting me off. Right. Me and you have spoken about Clearlake 1,000,001 times. We both agreed because now you're trying to do this thing where it's like, oh, Don's by himself. Yeah, Don's by himself. I never said anything. Me and you both agreed with the amount of players that me and you both agreed with the model of selling players, flipping them, and bringing the money into the club. And we both said, hold on, bro. We both said that should be invested into the first team, right? Me and you have had multiple conversations. I have told you many times that I don't want to be seeing any more Maduekis. I don't want to be seeing any more Mudriks. It's now time to bring in starting level quality, right? I have said to Louis, because you man don't seem to watch my content. The receipts are all there, yeah? We do Blue Diaries every single week, Louis. I've got a show on my channel called Blue Diaries, and we're speaking about the sort of signings we should have been going for in the summer. All the receipts are there, yeah?
Okay.
All the names I've listed off to you, Louis, are the names that me and the rest of the panel was saying to help us compete and challenge. We didn't go and do that, yeah? So, Terry, don't make it out like I was happy not signing these level of players because I wasn't, yeah?
Okay.
I wasn't. Don't do that.
Don, let me just respond. I've said this on 3 or 4. I've said it. I don't need to not do it. My point is this. I address things I get right and get wrong. I think your idea, I said it already on this show, of buying young players to flip them to make money is smart. City do it, right? You guys used to do it with loaning players out to make more money. There's no issues with that. I think buying a strategy of buying some of the best young players in the world as part of your model is great, and I've praised it. But what I said last January, what I said this summer, and by the way, I thought Gittins would be better than he is. So I've got my assessment of a player coming into the Prem wrong. I don't care. I'll hold my hands up. But what I said last January, go back and watch the videos. Said it in the summer, and I'm saying it again now. You needed to buy the experience. You needed to get the quality players. But when you say you weren't up for those players, you literally tweeted out saying that Gittins will remind Maresca about when he took over Leicester, having direct ringers to take people on.
My take hasn't changed.
You spoke about how impressive you were with Gittins, and you said here, serious squad being built here. So when this is why people call you out.
Is that the end of the window? Is that the end of the window, Terry? This is what I mean. You're trying to hold on. You do this thing.
So are you not going to let me finish? Are you not going to let me finish?
Because you won't let me finish, right? You do this thing where you like to confuse the audience. Yeah.
No one's getting confused.
We signed Gittins after the Club World Cup. I think the Club World Cup was even still on when we signed this guy. He couldn't play. The window wasn't shut. I said squad being built here. Come the end of the summer, was I happy with all the signings that were made? Right? No.
Again, okay. I've already done that. Don, let me do it then.
Trying to confuse
Nobody here. Don, nobody here is confused, because at the same time in November, after the window's shut, you spoke about the only difference between your squad and the best team currently in England was your centre backs. I'm going to go to Staffy in a minute about the Garnacho thing. No one is saying you didn't say I'd like better than a Garnacho, but at the same time, you were talking about having one of the best squads in Europe, how being one of the best teams, and you were happy enough. You backed Clearlake. You weren't calling them out. You defended the idea of not going for the bigger stars on the bigger wages. The issue is you say multiple things. No one is disagreeing with you. And we had this conversation in the group chat the other day. I don't disagree when you say I wanted better than Garnacho. I know you wanted better than Garnacho. Yeah. But on multiple occasions, you said things like, if he starts converting his chances at Chelsea, he could become one of the best wingers in the league. You said he'll be much better at Chelsea.
Wherever he went. No matter where he went.
So this is the point when people Don, this is the point. This is the point now when people are challenging you. Okay, it's, do you stand on that take still, or do you take it back? What you tend to do is this: you go, see how Garnacho is not doing well. Yeah, didn't I tell you it would be bad? You do.
Terry, what's your point? Hold on. What's your point on sharing that Gittins screenshot? Because my take on Gittins hasn't changed, right? I've been criticizing Maresca for giving Garnacho a run of games instead of a guy who fits his system more. So you showing the audience that screenshot means nothing to me. I'm trying but again, so this is the thing. So you say your take hasn't changed in that tweet as well. And by the way, none of these things are like private message or anything like that. This is all public stuff. It's serious squad being built. We're only 2 centre backs away from being on Arsenal's level. The next breath, it's the sporting directors have completely and utterly messed this squad build up. Then it's, I've seen you on other streams talk about how every department of your team is better than Arsenal's, barring the centre backs. Other places you've said you've got the second best squad depth in the league when it comes to your attack. But then you're saying sporting directors out. It's 1 minute, it's like, we're this, we're that, we're coming for you all, we're great. The next minute, it's like, oh, they've fucked up this squad build. See, this is the thing, though.
We confuse people. We just want to understand where your view is now of your squad, how you feel about Clearlake. Yeah, and so just it's a conversation. It's a conversation.
I've literally told you where my view is, bro. I told you that tweet I put out about Gittins, right, was when the window was still open. I literally said squad being built is what I said. Come the end of the window, bro. Do you think I was happy with how the squad was
you
built?
Weren't. The thing is, what's disingenuous about that, and but next person I'm going to be Staffy, is that you weren't linked when you signed Gittins and you put that tweet out. You weren't linked to anybody else other than really Xavi Simons or Garnacho. Neither of them are of the level of player you guys really want.
We were linked to Ekatike. We were linked to Ekatike.
That's a lie. Ekatike had already signed for Liverpool about 5 weeks earlier.
It's not a lie, bro. We literally put in a bro. The receipts are still there. Go check Simon Johnson. Go check Fabrizio, bro. We was heavily linked to Ekatike. Yeah, we called to find out the conditions of the deal, and we walked away from it. And then I think Newcastle came in. Then Liverpool came in after that, bro. We were linked to Ekatike from early. Was linked to Baltimore from early. They signed him in like July. And the main 2 people in the race for that were actually doing the bidding was Newcastle and Liverpool. When did Gittin sign for you? Actually, his was quite early, wasn't it? Yes, Gittin signed. Hold on, Louis. Yeah, bro. I can't believe Terry's saying Chelsea weren't linked to Ekatike.
You weren't one of the. You were not one of the front runners. You were not one of the front runners.
It's literally public knowledge that we called to find the deal, to find out the conditions of the deal for Ekitike. We didn't go through with it because I literally have blue diaries where we was going through Ekitike, was all looking at him in the group chat, what he can bring to the team. This guy looks good. We should sign him, right? And then we didn't end up signing him. Votamade is another one was linked to as well, Terry. Rogers is a name that kept coming up. Kudus is a name that kept coming up. Yeah.
Okay, Don, stop. This is the problem. The names were coming up. They weren't actually bidding on them. This is a recurring theme with these.
And that's a problem.
Ownership. They're consistent. What they consistently do is they doing what you're saying. We made the phone call, but they didn't fit the project. They didn't see the project. They didn't believe in the project. It's the same thing over and over and over. Where Chelsea, you're saying that Chelsea were interested and linked with them. A light link, which you read in the sports column or on Twitter, isn't actually bidding for the player.
I never said we bidded for him. I never said we bidded for him. I said
that's what Terry's trying to say.
But your tweet about Gittins and the squad being serious was on the 8th of August, which is about 2 weeks after Liverpool had signed Hugo Ekitike. So you were not linked with him after that point. The main links after that stage, Don, were Javi Simmons and was Alejandro Garnacho. I cover the transfers religiously. Those were the two players you were looking at. And what you were saying then is serious squad being built, which is a fine opinion to have. All we're asking is, do you? And you've said you don't. You said your opinion on your squad hasn't changed. That's it. You've answered the question. That's it. We don't need to discuss it anymore. You think it's the second best squad in England? Cool.
Louis, I've said the same thing, Louis, about these sporting directors. Yeah, even when the whole Semenyo thing came out, I literally said, bro, no one get excited about this. Yeah, no one get excited about Semenyo because we're not gonna go through with it. Yeah, we're not gonna go through with it. They did the same thing with Maignan. I know Sanchez has improved. They did the same thing with Maignan. I've criticized them about it, bro. At the end of the day, we're content creators. When we see any rumors, we see any links, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah.
Yep.
The receipts are all on my channel from the summer. People need to go onto my channel and go see the players that we was talking about in the summer. No one on that panel would have built the team the way that they did. Yeah, not a single person. I've said many times, myself, Louis, Louis, the chat, we would all build a team better than these, man. Yeah. So end of the day, no one could try and act like I was happy with all these signings that they made and that, bro. I rate these guys as squad players, not fucking starters.
I hear you, Don. Sorry, not Don. Staffy. What do you want to say, bro?
I don't know what to say. There's a lot that's been said. This is the first time I think we go through a show and I haven't said a word for 50 minutes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. The room was getting hot, I'll be honest. I feel like I should have wore like a t-shirt or something. Not this one. This is a little bit too heavy. Yeah, there's been a lot of press going on, I feel like there's been a full court press. I honestly just don't know what to say because I felt like we went in circles a lot. And there's two, when I said the DonStein a week or two ago, I thought it would be a little bit more fun than this. I'm actually not having fun with this at all, to be honest. And I just don't know what we established in exactly 48 minutes of talking about Don's takes and all that stuff. Because I'll be honest, like some of the things that Don said right now is a little bit more objective than what he usually used to give us. Like I don't think he's wrong when he said, who do you mention? Rodrigo as an example.
Yeah.
And then Louis said, but we know it's out of the wage structure and he would cost a lot of money. But I guess that's the whole point of mentioning it is because as Chelsea Football Club, you should be going for players that you think are going to bring that level of quality, that level of experience. And surprise, surprise, when you do go for players for that quality and that experience, they will cost that much and they will be on these type of wages. So I think in that essence, Don isn't wrong. The issue is, and that's what Terry stated, a little bit earlier in the summer, Don was really allowing some of these things to kind of go under the radar and he didn't really speak about it as much because I guess the positive side in him wanted to big up his team, wanted to big up the signings, wanted to big up these type of players that were coming in, wanted to give him a chance. I know how much Don loves his club and he goes to games and all that. He doesn't really want to sit out there and say a lot of negative things. You know what I'm saying? But that's when these opinions kind of collide a little bit with what you're saying right now. And
that's a lie. These are all things. Again, these are all things that are there. All you got to do is watch the streams back, and you'll see it. You'll see it, bro. All these players that most people wanted, the left hand side, bro. The amount of times I said, yeah, because I'm even in the group chat of Ches and that, right? There's a guy in there called Cali. Cali was like, "Oh, I'm seeing links still with Garnacho." This was after we signed Gittins. I said, "Bro, there's no chance we sign Garnacho now. We've already signed Gittins. Gittins is a squad player. Yeah, we need to go and buy a starting level left winger." Is what I kept saying. Yeah, that didn't happen. But in you guys' world, I wanted Garnacho. Bullshit.
No, but the thing is, and this is when listen, you're my friend.
No one said it.
I'm having a little bit of banter with you right now.
Staffy's saying, "Oh, I just kind of ignored these things because I love my club, bro." I was talking about this.
No, because you were shamelessly celebrating these signings as they happen. So it's like my issue with you is you tried to have the best of both worlds, where like I don't really want this signing, but when we sign, I'm still gonna flex it like it's the newest Rolex, and I just bought a Rolex, and I'm gonna flex it on everyone and flick my wrist in front of everyone. And then you come back and say, "Well, yeah, but I wanted this, and that." That is, I think that's the issue here because you've given a lot of these takes.
You don't flex like this. Tell me,
Garnacho.
I
Well, I
didn't
just
flex
used
like
Garnacho
that.
as an example because you tried to be shameless about it. But that's just. You did, wallah. You used to talk. You were sending me DMs about what'd you call him, Shirley and whatever. What's the name again of the actor?
I was calling Garnacho Shirley Carter because I didn't want to fucking call him his name. Yeah,
come on, man. Like,
bro, look at this. I'm calling him Shirley, bro. What's that gonna prove? What's that really gonna prove, bro?
You know what I mean? You were flexing his GNA to me, bro.
Is this what we're doing, Staffy? Is this what we're doing, bro? Yeah,
no, that's what I'm saying. That's the only evidence I'm bringing to you right now. You were flexing these guys on me.
Banter between us, Staffy. It's what we're doing, Staffy. Yeah,
no, I know it's banter. I know it's banter. I know it's banter.
Don't try. Man, sharing DMs now. It's what we're doing, Staffy. It's what we're doing.
No,
I'll remember that. No, I remember that.
It's not like chill. It's not like I'm leaking Snapchats and shit of someone. Relax. My point is, you get to do these things where you try to have the best of both worlds, and then when people call you out for it, of course I'm calling you out for it as a bit of a joke, but some people see the real into this as well, because like there's other examples where you sat there and you're talking about how you're a couple center backs away from doing this and doing that. These are the things that people remember. Someone might not see the jokes between us in the DMs and shit, but sometimes that banter that you take from DMs, you actually do it in real life, and I don't think you realize it. Where you sit there and
I've never been for the Garnacho signing, bro. Never, bro. Me and you. In fact, Terry, you like to.
But then why would you say you're a couple center backs away? And by the way, I'll hold my hand up and say the same thing, because I sat there before the Eze signing the Arsenal made, and I was like, you know what, bro? I think Chelsea, with the way they're progressing this season, I actually have them finishing second over Arsenal. I said that, and that prediction blew up in my face, and that's fine. I'll admit it. Clearly, it came to that,
And that's where I go back to the manager. Because I've got files of you last season where I was talking about Maresca. Yeah, I've got files of you as well, because you want to talk about DMs. Let me bring some of these files up, people. Yeah, I'm not gonna send them to Terry because they're on WhatsApp. Yeah, but this is some of the
files. What did I do, man?
This is some of the things that Staffy was saying last season about Maresca that I've been saying this season as well. Yeah, he said, "See what I'm saying, bro. Maresca's leaving his wingers isolated with no striker or overlapping fullback.
Yes.
Don wants to defend that Linguini Pep." Yeah. He then said, "My point is."
I didn't say that.
This is what Staffy said. This is what Staffy said about Maresca. Yeah. He called him a Linguini Pep.
I didn't call him Linguini Pep. I
called him a Linguini Pep, bro. The messages are all here. Yeah. He called him a Linguini Pep.
Oh my God, that's been the best thing that's been said in 53 minutes.
And he also said this.
That's like a slander name. You gotta give me that. Come on.
That is superb. Well done. That is fantastic.
Let me carry on, Louis, because I'm not done there. Yeah. You've also said this. My point is, your squad can play better than this system, a lot better than this manager is allowing them. Yeah. He then said to me,
you said that was last season, by the way.
Hold on, bro. You then said to me,
what was that last season? Hold on. Was that last season?
Yeah, but exactly what you were saying here is what I've been saying about him.
No, I'm actually curious. When was that? Like, can you tell me when was
you wanted to share the DMs? You wanted to share the DMs. Let me finish what I'm saying.
No, just tell me when was it?
You said, "I honestly believe Don would have coached a better game than him." That's what you said.
When was that? I know, but when was that? Can you please tell me when was that?
When we're talking about, hold on, bro. So when
should I some of our old texts from 2020? We're just going to do that.
No, don't. Because we had a round back then. Don't share them.
It was from last season. It was from last season.
Can you tell me when was that? I'm genuinely curious. When was it?
I think it was like December, January time. The period where Maresca fell off. Because
now you're talking, but see what you're doing that's unfair here.
It's
I
not
gotta
unfair.
defend
though.
myself here.
Let me finish my
You
point and I'll let you
saying
come back.
that?
I'll let you come back. I'll let you come back. Honestly, I'll let you
Okay.
come back, Staffy. Yeah. My point is, everything that you were saying over that period, December, January, is exactly what I've been saying about Maresca even this season. Because when I went back to that conversation, Staffy, me and you was agreeing on a lot. Yeah. This time round, Terry, I am not playing Garnacho and Neto together all the time like this. I would have introduced Esteval in the team time ago.
I hear you. Can I just say as well?
Time ago. I would have played Palmer on the right.
Can I
time
defend
ago.
myself real quick though before we
Yeah.
move
Say
on?
that back, and then we're going to end this segment. We've got a few bits to move on to, but because this.
Okay,
I
because
still think,
first of all,
Don's missing something, but we'll go to you first, Staffy. Go on.
Okay, so all I'm gonna say is I don't mind Don calling me out for some of these things. I'll laugh at some of the bad takes that I've had at times. But what you just did right now is that you tried to go tit for tat because I shared a Garnacho DM, which by the way, I didn't share any conversations between me and Don, so he can't be even upset at me with that. It's just his shamelessness when it came to Garnacho. However,
Yeah.
I remember the exact conversation we had. I just can't remember what game it was, where it's a game that Chelsea didn't win. And that's my reaction to one 90-minute game. Now, I'll tell you this. Since then, I've actually rated Maresca a lot more. And you just mentioned that we had a phone call the other day and we were talking about like your signings and the manager, whatever. And what's one thing I said to you? Even though I've criticized him, I called him Linguini Pep. I told you that I don't think he deserved to get sacked. I think he's made mistakes. I don't think he's the best thing out there, but I've actually said I don't think he deserves to get sacked based on everything the club has done. I think he's been done dirty more than he's done wrong when it comes to this club.
Yeah.
So that's the context that you kind of remove out of this. And I get it. Maybe you're just mad at me for sharing the Garnacho thing and you want to get back at me, but I don't think it's the same thing, bro. It's not even remotely the same thing.
Everything that you said, all the criticisms from Maresca is literally the same thing I've been saying this season. Because again, Louis, let me come to you, Terry, before you come in. Yeah.
Oh,
do you feel like the team kind of went stale and we needed to see a change, right? Even simple things like playing Palmer on the right and overlapping the fullbacks. Yeah. Like the team went stale, bro. You had to try something new, man.
Can I ask you a quick question before I go to Louis? I want a really quick answer on this one, Don. Do you back the sacking of Maresca because of how bad you were playing, or do you think it's more about like? Do you think he did bad managing and you won 1 in 7, or do you think it's about he just had enough of the way you're being run and it went off? Like which do you think you're down to?
Yeah, I think it's bigger than just the results. You know, the
Okay.
results don't help, but I think they fell out, innit? I think obviously, you know, after the whole Atalanta thing, it said that he didn't get no support or whatever. I think it just, you know, the relationship broke down.
I hear that.
But I'm with Staffy. I didn't want him sacked.
No, I hear that. Let me ask you a question, Lou, because we're going to speak a little bit about the title race as well on the show. We've got some super chats to do. But it looks like Liam Rosenior is coming in next. How confident are you this is going to work? Along with a lot of other reports I've seen, this is the thing that's made me reassess my thoughts of Clearlake. There's all this stuff, and maybe I missed this at the time, that they're kind of involved in picking players, that they're not going to change the model. They essentially want a yes man. I mean, do you have any excitement of the idea of Liam Rosenior coming in?
Not particularly, no. If anything, I feel kind of sorry for him because he's going to be the person who's going to be in the firing line when people refuse to actually take the accountability they should be in the sporting directors and the ownership. He's just another meat shield, to be honest. And I think that's going to be something which is going to be quite hard for him. I think Liam Rosenior is quite an exciting young coach. Do I think he's a man, like you said at the beginning of the show, which I'd ever hear in tandem with the name of Chelsea? Absolutely not. Or if it was, it would be after like a really good stint at like I don't know, Iraola, so he's going to go to Bournemouth and tear it apart, do an amazing job, etc. Right? I think that realistically, I reckon he'll be lucky to last the end of the season. I'm very honest. I just, and look, if it comes back and it absolutely bites me in the arse and it turns out to be the best thing since sliced bread and Chelsea continue to proceed and do really well and these players develop and the quality develops and things sort of really start to get moving, then yeah, you know what? I'll be happy to hold my hands up. But the reality of what I've seen over the past 3 years of Chelsea Football Club, in Benedict Barley, in Paul Winstanley, in Lawrence Stewart, I just don't believe that they have the nous, the quality, or the humility to listen to their coaches who are in a position who can actually help them. I agree with what Don was saying about Chelsea. I've never been a massive fan of Maresca's style of football. As you very well know, I'm not a possession-based kind of guy. I like energy. I like players fighting for the ball. That's my sort of thing, right? I'm quite I guess, primitive in some people's eyes in terms of the football that I like. But the numbers don't lie. Top 4, Club World Cup, Conference League, played some really, really good teams off the park. There's a good coach there, but they refused to give him the autonomy to do what he needed to, or refused to take on board what he said, what Mauricio Pochettino also said, what Graham Potter would say, what Frank Lampard was saying during his interim basis, saying, look, we need to have some experience, you need to have some understanding, you need to have some culture within this space. And they've just gone, nah, we know exactly what we're doing. We're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. So it just feels like it's going to be another repetition and another incarnation of what we've been seeing over the past sort of 2-3 years. So no, I'm not particularly excited, but if it goes well, thumbs up all round.
Yeah, Don, are you behind this manager? Are you excited? Are you backing this? Is it the right coach to take you forward?
Bro, I'm indifferent about it right now, Terry. I'm indifferent because the main thing that worries me.
You knew that was going to be the answer, didn't you, Staffy?
I'm indifferent, bro. I'm numb. I'm numb right now to what they're doing because end of the day, like I've already said to you, I've given them enough time and I want them gone. I want those 2 sporting directors gone. I want someone up there who knows what they're doing, right? But all I can ask for, because it looks like this manager is going to come in, all I ask for is just go back to basics with this team, man. I don't want to be seeing 2 inverted fullbacks. I don't want to be seeing, the wingers being left isolated. I don't want to be seeing Garnacho and Neto starting together. I don't want to be seeing Santos on the bench all the time. I want the squad to actually be used, right? Use the squad better than what this guy was doing. Because end of the day, I like Maresca. I wanted him to change it, but I'm sorry, his management hasn't been good this season. It's been meaty. It's been meaty, bro. Myself, this is why I love doing the weekly shows that I do, because we speak about every game. And most of these games, we have been criticizing Maresca in a lot of them. Yeah. So again, when I put my video out yesterday, Terry, I went in chronological order because a lot of people struggle with comprehension. I spoke about the sporting directors and the owners first. I then spoke about Maresca because as much as I don't agree with how the summer went, bro, I don't agree with how he's managed the squad. 2 things can be right at once. Yeah.
They can be, or you could be wrong.
Listen, you could be wrong, but end of the day, Terry, let us see the squad. Let us see the squad properly, so I can actually come to a full judgment, because everyone views the game differently. Some people might see one game.
Hang on, but this is what I don't get. Sorry, I need to ask you this question because you'll get missing. Let me ask you a question quickly. So if you haven't seen the squad because the manager's held it back, why are you angry at the sporting directors and want them gone? They might have built a good squad. You ain't seen it yet. You've just said.
Yeah, but bro, I'm talking about the players that they've brought in that I rate as squad players. I don't rate them as starters, Terry. Yeah, you're having this. Is what I'm saying. We're having 2 different conversations here.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are, because I rate Gittins as a squad player. I don't rate him as a starter. I don't think he should have been brought in with a Garnacho. I think we should have brought in a starting left winger, right? But my point is, someone like a Gittins should have been used a lot more than Garnacho because he fits the system more. I even have a tweet saying, bro, listen, I texted Tyreek's uncle, Tyreek George's uncle, when I saw the links about Tyreek leaving and Garnacho coming in. I said, bro, like, how are we getting rid of Tyreek to go bring Garnacho? I'd rather keep Tyreek instead of bringing in Garnacho, because Tyreek fits what we're trying to do more. Yeah. So many Chelsea fans complained about how Maresca was using our fullbacks, how he's using the midfield, how Enzo Fernandez is.
That's why I called him Linguini Pep, because he never fucking inverted
his. What I'm going to say before we go to the super chats, maybe it is my comprehension, but 2 players away from being as good a squad as good as Arsenal, the manager generally rightfully sacked for not using the squad right, but equally get rid of the sporting directors for not building a good enough squad. If my squad now was 2 players away from being as good as Arsenal's, I wouldn't want my sporting director sacked.
Yeah, but Terry, man, listen, at that point of the season, right, when you look at all the attacking metrics with Arsenal, they were very similar. The main difference with us and them at the time was our defensive record. And you know yourself, bro, their attack right now, okay, cool. It scored some goals recently. Cool.
We always knew Arsenal were going to do this. We know how good they are.
So bro, may I add here?
They've got a foundation.
So you were can I ask you a question then? Just to be honest, so you were wrong. You're not as close to Arsenal as you thought you were. You're admitting you were wrong about that now.
Oh, well, yeah, of course, bro. Okay. You know what I mean? With this set of players, of course, right now. Yeah, like
we could have saved an hour.
End of the day, yeah, like. End of the day, their centre backs have bailed them out of so many games at the start when their attack wasn't firing, bro. Our centre backs were doing the opposite. When we were scoring goals, Louis, our centre backs were doing fuckery, and then we went on a little drought where we actually, stabilized the defense. You know what I mean, bro? So
can you so you're saying this, but can you imagine having an outlay of 1.6 billion and not having a competent centre back? Do you know what the most expensive signing is at centre back from this sporting directorship? Do you know who it is? Axel Disasi for £40 million. That's the most they spent at centre back.
I have been talking.
That's all I'm going to say. That's it.
Guys, I'm going to jump. Let me jump into these super chats here because I want to touch on the title race before the end of the show as well. Man literally was saying a month back Fofana is what they need to win the league in their 24-hour long title challenge.
Bro, listen, Fofana definitely helps our defense, but end of the day, I don't agree with how Maresca's been setting up the attack. I'm sorry, I just don't agree with it.
Don was here a few weeks ago claiming they were the only area Chelsea weren't better than Arsenal with centre backs, but now he's saying starting 11 is fourth best. Waffle is what Rob Ladd says here.
The starting 11 that we've been going with is Neto and Garnacho. Straight away, you've got minus points for me, bro.
Zane, listen, man, I watched Stranger Things from the start. That's not a Gen Z thing? Millennials watch that. It made me sad last night. Great ending. Clearlake want to moneyball football, a sport the least suitable. They buy players on metrics, stats, and with financial upside. Great for business, not for winning. Only ones being hurt are the fans.
Exactly.
I agree with that 100%. Examples of good experience. Look how Xhaka has helped transform Sunderland. By the way, Xhaka would have been a great signing for anyone this year. He's been amazing in the Premier League. His mentality has catapulted them to having a great chance of staying up when no one predicted it. Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, so if Xhaka's another good example, then we should be looking at players in their 30s then.
But if they're good enough, if they're good enough.
So then we should, then so we ignore Ekitike then. We ignore Rodrigo.
No! Oh my God!
No,
there can be a mix of both.
I don't know if you're just saying this to
I
piss me off.
want to come to you, Louis. Yeah? Tell me all the guys in their 30s that we should have signed in the summer. Tell me all the players we should have signed in their 30s that we should have signed in the summer.
I don't know, mate. I don't know. You seem to know a lot better than me.
No, you know better than anyone. You know better than anyone.
No, I don't know better than anyone, actually.
Jack is a good example. Jack is a good example, right?
Jack is a very good example of a player who could have been signed. Maybe midfield. I don't know if there was someone that you could have brought in Xhaka, but I don't know. Somewhere in centre back, someone as a striker. You know, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, so Giroud.
There's so many. Yeah, okay, fine. Olivier Giroud. Yeah, cool. Whatever. Terry,
but then there can be a healthy medium between the two. You know what I'm saying? Where like you can't rule out. As a big club like Chelsea are, you can't rule out all the futuristic signings of high potential, like Ekitike and them. You always have to go for them. I mean, your guys' arguably your best ever Premier League player is Hazard, and he was all potential when you guys signed him from what's it called, from the French league. So no one is saying that, but equally, I mean, outside of Lewis maybe not giving you the examples that you want, when players with experience become available, you do have to go for them just to keep a healthy balance between the future talent and the ready now players. Someone like even though I wasn't his biggest fan when we signed him, I'll tell you as an example, De Ligt had so much experience playing for Bayern and the clubs that he's played before, and he's what, when United signed him at 25, 26, something like that.
He'd be excellent for Chelsea because again,
I think it would be amazing for you guys since you have like you know as an example, man, you have like no box defending.
You think De Ligt will have able to handle it with two-man defense, bro? Two
no, but that's not what I'm saying, Don. Like he's a piece that your team would appreciate right now when it comes to box defending.
I'll give you a name. I'll give you a name. I'll give you a name.
But like the Bournemouth game, the two goals that you conceded came because you couldn't clear the ball. Well, not you. Your defense couldn't clear the ball twice in the box. There's two headers that were one header and then a bounce in the box. That's two balls that weren't cleared in the box that led to goals twice in one game. That is just an example of a box defender that would have helped you guys at this age, at his experience. He's not the best thing in the world. He's not Van Dijk in his prime. But I think if Louis would agree with me, these are the type of signs we would look at. 30 million, experience, 26 years old. Go in and get him.
Gay, he's a perfect example. I
don't disagree with you in that. I'm just giving more examples.
Yeah, Gay, he's a great example. He's not as old as that. I would have looked. I don't even know how old he is now. He's going to be mid-20s. Bastoni. But I'll tell you a player, Chelsea, five plus years ago, I tell you a player Chelsea would have signed either this summer just gone or the one before would have been Harry Kane. You'd have been all over a deal like an Harry Kane at 29, 30. Exactly. Call your ownership out then. Don listens to react. He doesn't listen to respond. He was definitely in. Okay, right. Sorry, I didn't know it was offensive. Don, PSG bought young French players when they had Donnarumma, Marquinhos, Mendes, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and Dembele, all of whom have more than 100 league and over 15 Champions League appearances when they added Kvaratskhelia. Exactly. There's a really good experience core that you're adding the youngsters to. When Barca promoted their youngsters, when the class of 92 came through, a really good experience core for those young players to learn off. We can't. All right. Facts. Hope you're well, bruv. Long time no see, brother. I always see you on TV, actually. You're always at the front at Chelsea games. Long time, boys. The point that Terry addressed was young players don't develop in isolation. Very true.
Yeah, we agree with that.
You need to surround them with experienced, reliable pros, someone who can stabilize during the games. Without that, inconsistency will happen. Absolutely, you're right. It's a bit like having an apprentice, but no leader, no master. Just a bunch of apprentices running a building site. Can you imagine?
No.
Don, you stated that 7 to 8 of your players are better than Arsenal players. What is this about signings you didn't get? I'm confused.
I don't even know what you're saying.
I think he's back to the point being made earlier. You were talking about 6 or 7 of your first team players are better than Arsenal's, but he's already addressed that. He said he doesn't believe that anymore. So,
no, bro. I think I rate our fullbacks. I think both of our fullbacks are world class, right? I rate our midfield very highly. Yeah, I like Esteval on the right. I wouldn't start Neto ahead of Esteval. Yeah, on the left, I said I'd fucking bring Trossard, and I'd love their centre-back pairing, bro. That's what I said.
I play Neto on the left personally. I really like Pedro Neto. I think he works hard for the team, and I really like that in some players.
Yeah, but Trossard's better than him, though, man. I think Neto's probably got more pace.
I mean, we're nitpicking here, aren't we? We're nitpicking.
Yeah.
Grant here says,
when anyone ever says he works hard, I tend to not rate the player right away.
That's
the first thing you think of. That's not a good sign.
Watch Moneyball with Brad Pitt. This is what baseball has become. The manager is told what to do by the guys with spreadsheets. The Dodgers owned by Clearlake. There does feel a little bit of that going on.
No, they're not. Dodgers aren't owned by Clearlake.
Oh, they're not. I didn't know that.
This is a consistent.
The same thing.
No, but this is a consistent issue, which I do think needs to be raised because not enough people talk about it. Whenever people talk about Chelsea, they automatically pivot towards Todd Bowley. It's not Todd Bowley that's the issue at Chelsea, really, for me right now. Anyway, Ben Barley and Jose Feliciano are the guys that run Clearlake, and they're the ones that own 60% of the club. Todd
Where's
Bowley
Barley from again, by the way?
He's from the States.
Oh, he's American.
Yeah, they're all American.
Look, bro.
They're all Yanks. Don, you fail to understand when any player becomes available, some other club will take it with higher wages than your 60k slavery. Well, they're not on that. You've gone a bit low there, my friend. They do pay more than that.
Slavery. I didn't even know Gittins on over 100k a week. That surprised me.
I must have missed the memo for the black hats today. Yeah, that was random actually, but get your black hats on. You have to meet Don in his feelings. Facts don't matter. Is trying to justify his feelings being right. English Talent FC says this is the same Chelsea under Roman. Cup team with high turnover of players, poor league record, small club who can't handle being favourites to win.
Boy, big.
What the Roman team that won 3 or 4 league titles? That Roman team. Okay, cool.
Talking about the final years of Roman. As in, last one the league.
They weren't great. Even Hussam owns up. I was actually in a studio with you, Louis, the night. Do you remember when Watford beat you like 3 or 4-0?
Oh no, I was at the ground that one.
Oh, you might not have been at the game. Somebody else from like 100% Chelsea was there that night in the studio with us. It's a great night that was. Thank you, Moose, for your super chat. But he's better than Arteta. Never makes sense. 1 hour later, hit the like. Yes, hit the like button, please, people, if you haven't done so already. Don, is your squad 15 points off top worse? How many minutes and starts did you expect from your squad players?
Bro, I expected Santos to be used a lot more. I expected him to be started a lot more. in the Club World Cup, we kept seeing him off the bench to see out games, which helped, especially with our centre-back situation. You need a bit more stability. I expected Estevao to be playing a lot more. You know what I mean? I expected Delap not to get injured the way he did. I expected
Even your left back, what's his name?
Hato.
He barely gets any minutes.
We barely see him, you know. So there's just so many things where I'm like, yo, this manager didn't manage the squad how I expected him to manage it. You know?
That's where I agree with you on that point, because like I can always back a manager where I feel like, all right, the summer you weren't backed the way that you should have been backed. The way that you stylistically play, I'm not just talking about Enzo Maresca, I'm talking about managers in general. Sometimes you can look at a summer and say, for the profiles that you needed, you probably didn't get back the same way that you should have. Equally, at the end of the day, a coach has to coach. And I always talk about the importance of coaching on this channel because I feel like a lot of people dismiss it. What at the end of the day, if you're being dealt a deck of cards, you just have to make the best out of it. It might not be ideal, it might not be good enough to go and win trophies and win the league and all that, but if you could just maximize what you have, it shows how good of a coach you are, and it earns you a lot of credit moving forward, because people could say you were given this, it wasn't ideal, and you still did okay with it. When you ignore a lot of these cards, because he did that, what's his name, and I'm surprised you forgot to mention him, Mark Guiu. No, not Hato, Guiu. He hated Guiu so much, I don't know why, and he brought him back from loan and still didn't use him, even though he knew his strikers weren't banging. It's inexcusable at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Zane here says, Don, if someone says that Chelsea should buy a 25-year-old Haaland, that doesn't mean they're saying Chelsea shouldn't buy an 18-year-old Yamal. If he is available, you should go for both. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but my thing was Louis gave an example of Thiago Silva, and that's why I specifically hold on, Louis, before you start doing all that, bro. And that's why I specifically
I'm going to do it because it's so ridiculous.
And that's why I specifically mentioned all those players. And he didn't answer my question. He didn't tell me what he thinks of that team. He said, "Oh, that's never going to happen." That's the whole point of the question. That was the whole point of the question, bro. That they're the players we should have signed. They're the sort of players we should have signed. That is the whole point.
Yeah. And then our whole point to you was you should have been calling out your ownership rather than you and Ches backing them.
What do you mean call? Let's not go through it again. We're gonna go around.
On the weekend's games, I'm gonna go Louis first on this. How do you think Arsenal are going to get on against Bournemouth? Do you think they're going to put more pressure on City and go 7 points clear, or can you see us singing the towel at the Vitality?
I just can't see it going any other way other than Arsenal. I think right now this league is Arsenal's to lose, and I think Bournemouth actually played very well against us. But I also think that their big thing of the long throws is going to definitely be less of an issue for Arsenal than it was for us. So I can't see it going any other way than Arsenal getting 3 points.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at what you said. Hamza, I don't know. He just went out. We went out last night. He said, Terry, proof it was the coldest temperature of the year last night. He went out to the front of the supermarket last night where they keep the milk. And he said, look, they took all the milk out because it was going to freeze overnight. That's how cold it was. That's his proof that it was a harder game for Man City. He's actually sent me the pictures of the empty milk trucks.
That's how you got to love Hamza, bro.
Oh, my God. He's obviously watching. Big up Hamza for watching. That is the funniest thing. I'm going to have to feature that in a video later and just school him.
No, Linguini Pep is the best thing I've heard.
No, Linguini Pep was the best thing.
Bro, I don't get enough credit for my humor out here, but you know what? I'm glad that I made you laugh.
No, it was funny. How do you see it going, Staffy? Can you see Arsenal slipping up, or do you feel after that Aston Villa win, they're going to extend their lead at the top and put that pressure on Man City Sunday against Chelsea?
It's a good time to play Chelsea. Might be some of the best times to play Chelsea now. Who they play? They're City. Chelsea are facing City. Who are Arsenal facing again? Sorry,
away at Bournemouth.
Oh, away at Bournemouth. So yeah, my hometown Bournemouth. But that's a story for another time. It might be two of us. We might be related. Yeah, I might not be Yank after all, and I have a cousin in England. So all of you guys,
one of your dads went on holiday somewhere maybe and had a good time.
I'm gonna claim that Lewis is my cousin.
Dad, you've got the same dad, you just don't know it.
Well, for a start, I mean, if we're cousins, you need to get my name right. It's Louis. It's not Lewis. Come on, man. You got to get it for a relation.
We should have practiced that before we went live. Okay, so
we did.
You should have practiced that. I'm gonna claim that Louis is my cousin, and now you guys can't tell me to stick to baseball anymore. Now I have the full right to speak about the sport of football.
Don't get me involved in that. I'm not touching it, mate. I'm not
Don't disclaim me live on YouTube like that.
Well, I just fucking did. All right, it is what it is.
What about Chelsea though? Because I said this earlier. I was recording with Henry Wright, and I've got a take on this weekend's game.
Sorry
and
to hear that.
It's yeah. I was talking about Henry talks bollocks.
I can never get that word. Bollocks.
Yeah. Yank saying bollocks. It just doesn't. There's bollocks and wanker. You guys can't say it right. It just doesn't.
I think of the name Bullock, the guy that from the Gotham series. What's his name? He's a detective.
Sandra Bullock.
I'm thinking of Sandra Bullock.
Or that as well. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Great.
Of. Like, I think.
So I got a take on Chelsea this weekend. I either think Chelsea are going to be really, really good and get a good result, or really, really bad and get slapped up. I don't think there's going to be any middle ground. I feel like I don't know which one.
If they weren't facing City, I'd probably agree with you. There could be a bounce back. I feel like a lot of the players are annoyed with the sacking. You know, we've seen a lot of players come out and post about it. I think someone like Reece James is an example. I don't think he's happy with the way his gaffer's been treated. He's probably going to go out and he's going to have a good performance. The difference is, though, if you weren't facing Pep, I'd probably say yes. It's the worst time for an assistant manager. I know he's a staff member. I don't know if is he the assistant manager, Don? The guy.
No. We've got the 21s manager. The 21s,
yeah. Sorry.
A guy that I went to uni with is now also doing the analytics as well, which is mental.
He reminds me, by the way, of Ryan Mason when he faced Pep in I think it was the League Cup final a few years ago. Remember that crazy chart they put where it's like Pep 500 and something wins, Ryan Mason 2 games, 1 win. It's like the most ridiculous. There was no point of putting it there. That's what it's gonna look like again on the weekend, and that's why I feel bad for him, because he's gonna get absolutely outcoached. It's the best time to face Chelsea because it's not a good time, I'll be honest. You know, we know why he got sacked. It wasn't just because of results. It was because of fallouts. Some of the players are probably against him. Some of the players are with him. I don't think everyone is going to be on the same page. I think emotions are going to be high for multiple reasons. Maybe some players are going to come out and they're going to try to prove a point. And maybe some players are going to slack and, you know, maybe they'll down tools. I don't know. I just don't think it's a great time to face City at all. It's a great time for City to face Chelsea now because they're in a title race pursuit. They just dropped points. And I don't think Arsenal are dropping points anytime soon. They're getting healthier. They've been picking up points while not even performing that well. They got a great result versus Villa. Once again, fuck you to whoever did the scheduling because I couldn't watch the game. I had to watch United play at the same time. But when I obviously watched the highlights and all that, still putting 4 past Villa with the form they've been in, by the way. 11 wins in a row. Shout out to Unai Emery. 11 wins in a row. And to put 4 past them like that and pick up 3 points, that's a great, I think that's like a statement win in my opinion, you know? So I see them continuing that run for the foreseeable future. But as I said, for City, it's probably a perfect time to play to play Chelsea because you're not going to play Chelsea in worse circumstances, in my opinion, all season than right now. So it's probably the best time to face them.
What are you saying? Look, do you think you could get something against City, or you sort of got no hope this weekend?
No, I've given my ticket away. I'm not going. I was there when we lost 6-0 under Mauricio Sarri. Do you think I want to go or see us lose 7? I feel sorry for Callum McFarlane. Like he's like, I watched him do his press conference, and you could tell he was like, "What am I doing here? Like this is ridiculous." The guy, I'll tell you what, the guy that he has got doing his analytics and that sort of stuff, he's very, very good. I went to uni with him, and he's like, I'm really the one plus for me for that watching that presser was hearing his name and seeing how well he's doing there. So I'm very proud of him for doing that, even if it is only for 1 or 2 games. But I think that realistically, Chelsea are going to be a very, 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 very difficult situation on the weekend, and I just can't see us.
Well, no Caicedo as well. He got his 10th booking of the season. He has got a bit of a problem with this
yellow card, by the way. That was
I mean that one wasn't. To be fair, yeah.
Bro, there's so many examples like that, though, man. Like this guy's just being policed the way Xhaka used to get policed, bro. You know, so
he gets the Casemiro treatment. Casemiro can breathe next to a player and he'll pick up a yellow just because of his reputation. I looked at that yellow. That was shocking. I'll be honest. I'm surprised you guys didn't even appeal it because you guys should have appealed it.
I don't think it was even 5 minutes into the game. I don't think it was
Yeah,
even
it was
5
in the
minutes.
middle.
Yeah, it was great. He was fortunate though because he made a foul a few minutes later, which was more of a yellow, where he steps on the man's foot and it doesn't get booked, which is referees all over are awful for that. Look, let's see what happens to you guys. I think Arsenal are going to win. I think Arsenal are going to win quite comfortably. That being said, with Bournemouth, I think they're 8 or 9 games, maybe 10 games now without a win. And there is a probability thing in this. At some point, they'll win a game again. At some stage, they will win a game. I'm not sure if it will be against. I think it will be the match afterwards when they're at home against Tottenham. I think it's when they play Tottenham that they'll probably go and get that win.
I mean, Sunderland is suffering with the amount of players that they got gone. Did you say Bournemouth or did you say
Bournemouth?
Sorry,
Bournemouth.
I don't know why I thought of Sunderland. But yeah, we faced them and they just.
That's why Sunderland's result yesterday was so good.
That's what I was thinking.
AFCON and their best centre back out injured, so the 7 players missing, and still to get.
Bournemouth are tanking low key though. I'll be honest with you, they haven't had a win in like 8 games right now.
But we have to give them something. You know, I was a midday live. I predicted the draw
twice. You get twice. I mean, I ain't laughing at you. Man United gave something to Wolves. Fuck me.
Yeah, someone's saying Pice Bomber. Let me see what's going on.
Huh?
They're saying Pice Bomber. Oh, bro, we already know.
It's close. Liam Rosenior's on his. I remember his dad. I did a coaching thing once when I was young. When I was a kid, play football. His dad was the coach for the day, Leroy. I can't believe he's son.
By the way, Bournemouth haven't had a win in the last 10 games. I said 8. It's actually 10.
We already know, man. We already know that he's coming in. So again, all I can hope for is just man to go to the basics, man. At the weekend, I'm not confident. I'm like Terry, bro. I don't see in between, man. Any in betweens. I don't think we'll get battered. But at the same time, Terry, it's like, yo, I'm looking at Caicedo's not gonna be there. Cucurella's not gonna be there. How are we gonna set up? They said
Cucurella may be available.
He might be, but
well, I mean, look, realistically, I'll just write it off at this point. If we get something great, if we don't, it's expected. You know, Chelsea and City is just write it off.
You got
what happens when Caicedo's not there, though. There's one man that you won't talk about enough, and that's I press you about this player a lot, and I'm not gonna stop pressing you about this player until I see his downfall in the Premier League. Mr. Enzo Fernandez.
Oh, right? He's a bum. I
am sick of this guy being rated higher than he should. All right. When
better than Rice.
When Caicedo's not there to hold his hands, you get to see how much this guy gets exposed. And listen, bro, I'm not trying to hate on Chelsea. I just don't like Enzo Fernandez.
I'm gonna back Enzo here. We have to remember Staffy has got an irrational hatred about Argentinian men. He hates Argentinian men.
Argentinian men because I think Messi's the GOAT, you know.
But
there's other political reasons not to like Argentina.
But you don't like the Argentinian men. You know the ones that like the lads. He's like there's something. I do think an Argy bloke.
I just don't like 5'7"
Messi's
center backs trying to act so macho. Like they're just not. When I used to play football, and I used to play, there's a lot of Mexicans that live in Jersey, and I used to play against the Mexicans. They used to be half my height, and they always acted so tough. And I'm like, bro, just stop. You're not doing that.
Is that what it is? Does it remind you of the
Mexicans? It used to annoy me because they had the low center of gravity, and then you got me fucking 6'3". They'll stomp on my foot. It pisses me off, and they act macho, and I'm like, no, bro. Like, I can stomp you and just smush you right now. Like, what are you doing? He just reminds me of that. It annoys me.
Smush. You were smushing together. You were smushing. Smooching.
Like smush means like
I know. Glad the head coach got sacked. There has to be a hierarchy. You can't let the head coach start undermining his bosses. The squad will while not City's level, should be ahead of Aston Villa. Chelsea must now.
Can I be honest? That's extremely lazy, in my opinion, in terms of a statement. Because Aston Villa have just gone on an 11-game unbeaten run, been absolutely superb, played some fantastic football, have a balanced squad, and have a coach who knows how to build something. And just because they're called Aston Villa, it's being said that we should just be ahead of them. It doesn't work like that, and that's why this Chelsea squad, in terms of their petulance, are sitting like that. You know, they look at Arsenal, they look at Barcelona. They might be even looking at it going, "Oh, great." Massive game where we'll get right out for that, but then Bournemouth and Aston Villa, it's Bournemouth and Aston Villa. That's the problem. That therein, that is a problem that is consistent throughout football. And I think that's just not a personal attack. It's just I think that's quite lazy in terms of talking about teams and how well they're performing.
Where did you predict us to finish, by the way, in the summer?
About where we are, 4th or 5th. All I wanted to see was a consistent improvement. I wanted to see Chelsea close the gap between the top teams that are there. I wanted to see us get like the. I'm guessing you predict us to finish above Villa. Probably, I don't know, but then I didn't expect Villa to be doing what they're doing now, and they've been doing really, really well.
But if you predicted us to finish above Villa, then clearly you rate us more than them.
Villa are doing really well. I'm not going to take it away from them. And just because what I predicted in August, things change. Things look different. Aston Villa have done very, very well. You learn lessons from 19 games of football, mate. Like, I've watched 19 games of the Premier League in the end of the season, and they've been very, very good for the vast majority of it. And just because Aston Villa
they had a poor start to the season.
Sorry, here's one mouth on. The vast majority is what I just said.
Yeah,
11 games out of 19 is the vast majority, is it not?
If you actually watch their games, bro, they've been scoring some screamers. Even United, when United went their away, bro, that first half, how you not weren't above, ahead of them? Yeah, how you didn't score? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know how you didn't score. So, hey, big up the guy that's super chat before. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you, man.
Ian here says, Terry, bring this guy back. I can't tell you how refreshing it is to hear some balanced views from a Chelsea fan. It's different, Vio. It's balanced, but it's different. And that's obviously why I wanted Louis on today, because I know Louis and Don see things differently. I think it's important for the audience to hear different perspectives as well. It's been a really good challenge. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in today on this Friday afternoon. If you haven't done so yet, like the stream. Make sure you're subscribing. This is going to redirect.
We went a whole show without mentioning Man United at all.
Yeah, baby! And I got to go now.
And you just mentioned Man United now. So now you've done it.
We just got mentioned. We will react to that another time. Please like, share, and subscribe. Get the bell notification button as well. Get that done. Don, legend, thank you very much indeed. Great sport today. This is one of those days where the pressure's on you, I suppose. Louis, thanks for coming back on, mate. I really appreciate it. I always want to call you Lewis because the S on your name. It does my dyslexia.
That's what I thought too, bro.
Crazy. Like, my fault.
It says Lewis.
Staffy, my old mate, top man. It's been 4 weeks. Me and you have not had a fight on the show. It's been great.
Because you know what, bro? And I'm going to leave with this, and I'm allowed to say this because no one can accuse anyone of bigotry. Get yank content creators out of my sport, bro. I am so sick of them. Now I understand why people don't like Americans, because all I've done all week was beef with American Man United fans. Get them all out of my sport. I've had enough of them. I've joined the British side now. I've completely flipped. I'm leaving you guys Americans on your own because of
we've colonized him. We've colonized Staffy. That's what we've done.
I'm moving to England. I'm going to my cousin now. Louis, I'll be there in a couple of days.
Love it. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.